What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Pens and Tea. My name's Carrie, and today we're in the spare bedroom of my house because that is where all my books are. So you get to look at Parker's carrying cage and some of my nephew's stuffed animals and blankets and all that good stuff. But today I thought I would finally start the pen and ink / book series monthly. The first few months I'm just gonna whip through really quickly because I didn't decide to do this until halfway through the year because, you know, me, decisions, yeah. So until April, I don't have any pen combinations because I don't remember what I was writing with every month before that. Whereas in April, I decided to do this. It is now the beginning of September. I'm filming this and I'm finally just starting because, you know, I'm smart. So basically what's going to happen, sorry, Parker is walking in and around my feet. Basically what's going to happen is I'm going to talk to you about the books that I've read that month, whether it's 1, 2, 4, 10, don't know. And then I'm going to tell you about the main pen and ink combination that I used that month. Because I tend to have one like mainstay pen and ink for about a month. And then I cycle through kind of like some random others. And I thought it'd be interesting for you guys. So let me know. So I'm going to actually whip through everything up until April in this one video. Yeah, I know, baby girl. Here, up there. So I'm going to whip through basically January, February, and March all in one video. And then I'll start with April. I'm going to upload them weekly. So every Tuesday from April until September. But then I'm going to do them once a month. So I'll update them weekly just to get us up to September, to getting us up to like par. And then from then on, it'll be once a month on a Tuesday, probably at the end of the month, because that just makes sense. So that's the plan. And let's go. So what did I read in January? So I broke them down into fiction, nonfiction. And in January, I actually read 4 books because I had a week off for my birthday. And I went up to the cottage and I read a lot up there. So for fiction, I read The Road and the Killing Eve book. So this is the Killing Eve book that the show is based off of, which stars Sandra Oh, and I cannot for the life of me remember what her name is right now, but she's fantastic. My goodness. I cannot remember her, but she is one of the best actresses. These 2 actresses, if you haven't watched this show, I highly recommend it. It's a BBC America show. So the style is a little bit different because of the BBC than what we're used to in North America. But if you can get past the first episode, you'll just kind of get used to that style. Absolutely fantastic. Do watch it because whoa. But basically, I'm just going to read the back real quick. Villanelle, codename of course, is one of the world's most skilled assassins, a cat-like psychopath whose love for creature comforts of her luxurious lifestyle is a second only to her love of the game. She specializes in murdering the world's richest and most powerful, but when she eliminates an influential Russian politician, she attracts the attention of a relentless foe. Villanelle, relentless foe. Eve, not a codename, is a former MI5 operative tapped for the National Secret Intelligence Service for a singular task: to find or capture or kill the assassin responsible. Eve, whose quiet and otherwise unextraordinary life belies her quick wit, keen intellect, accepts the mission. As they chase each other around the world, they intersect with corrupt governments, powerful criminal organizations, ending with a final confrontation from which neither will emerge unscathed. Really fascinating. Basically, yeah, psychopath, cop chasing her. The relationship between the 2, phenomenal. Really easy read. It's not complicated. The print is relatively large, not super long. Just a really nice kind of thriller style book that does not take too much mental capacity to read. Then The Road I guess I should say this is by Luke Jennings. The Road by Cormac McCarthy. This actually was recommended from Ryan Holiday, who you're going to see a whole a lot of books coming up shortly from him, saying that this book was a very, very good one to read. So I did. It's very sad, but very interesting. So again, I'm going to read the book. Father and son walk alone through burned America. Nothing moves in the ravaged landscape save the ash on the wind. It is cold enough to crack bones, and when the snow falls, it's gray. The sky is dark. Their destination is the coast, although they don't know what, if anything, awaits them there. They have nothing. Just a pistol to defend themselves against the lawless bands that stalk the road, the clothes they are wearing, a cart of scavenged food, and each other. The road is profoundly moving story of a journey. The road is the profoundly moving story of a journey. Okay. It boldly imagines a future in which no hope remains, but in which the father and his son, each the other's world entire, are sustained by love. Awesome in the totality of its vision, the road is an unflinching meditation on the worst and the best that we are capable of. Ultimate destructiveness, desperate tenacity, and the tenderness that keeps two people alive in the face of total devastation. That pretty much sums it up. Basically, high level overview is, the world has pretty much ended. No society, no government, no nothing. It's pretty much every man for himself. Basically going back to like caveman times, pretty much. There's no stores, there's no restaurants, there's no gas stations, there's nothing. You find your food, you kill your food, you cook your food, you kill other humans because they're going to kill you. Survival of the fittest. No zombies or anything like that. It's not like the end of the world apocalypse for that. It doesn't tell you how it got there, and it's not important. All that's important is that it is there. And that you follow basically a father and son through the whole time of their journey, trying to make it through the cold to the coast where it's a little bit warmer. And you just learn about their journey on the way, how much they love each other, how much they depend on each other, the scariness that they live through. There's a couple times when, there's some illnesses and stuff like that. Of course, there's no doctors, there's no medicine. There's no chapters in this book. It's literally just a continuous story. And there's kind of like breaks here. But that's it. It just goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on until it stops. Just like life. There's no chapters. There's just time. And I thought it was devastatingly beautiful. The relationship between the two, how much they will do to protect each other and hold on to what little they have, was just stunning. There's a good reason why it won a Pulitzer, because it is heavy. It is heavy. Killing Eve, not heavy. The Road, heavy. And then I read two nonfiction, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, philosopher, from AD 121 to 180 approximately. No one knows 100%. Marcus Aurelius succeeded his adoptive father as Emperor of Rome in AD 161, and Meditation remains of the greatest works of spiritual and ethical reflection ever written. With a profound understanding of human behavior, Marcus provides insights, wisdom, and practical guidance on everything from living in the world to coping with adversity to interacting with others. Consequently, the Meditations have become required reading for the statesmen and philosophers alike. While generations of other readers have responded to the straightforward intimacy of his style, in Gregory Hayes' new translation, the first in a generation, Marcus's thoughts speak with new immediacy. Never before have they been so directly and powerfully presented. Gregory Hayes is Associate Professor of Classics at the University of Virginia. So basically, Meditations is by Marcus Aurelius, aka he wrote essentially journals while he lived, and they're not in English, duh. So Gregory Hayes is the latest person to translate and interpret his work, essentially. And this is like pretty much the foundation of Stoicism. And it's awesome. I started reading it because I learned about the Stoic life and their philosophy and mindset. And I was going through some pretty hard times in my personal life, dealing with some like anxiety and like just some not great stuff. So I decided to read this book. I actually wrote down the sections of the book that I thought were most important to me. I've got the notes pulled out into another journal. I wrote in the book. I don't typically do that, but I wrote in the book. Like, I really tried to go through this slowly, digest it, and kind of understand what it meant to me. But basically, how to deal with life. How to deal with life. So like one of the very things, for example, towards the end, it's book 11, point 23. It says, Socrates used to call popular beliefs the monsters under the bed, only useful for frightening children with. So basically what that means to me is I wrote, is like, don't follow norms unless they fit with your nature. Socrates used to call popular beliefs the monsters under the bed, meaning just because everyone else says it's right doesn't mean it is. Like, don't be afraid to be the lone man out. Like, just so many things like this. It's just, I highly, 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 highly recommend. I don't have a whole lot of time to go into this because this is gonna be a very long video. But I very much recommend it. And then I read Russell Brand's Recovery, Freedom from Our Addictions. I had actually started reading this before January, but kind of stopped halfway through. Basically it says, my qualification for writing this book is not that I'm better than you. It is that I'm worse. I am an addict, addicted to drugs, alcohol, sex, money, love, and fame. This is the age of addiction, a condition so endemic, so all-encompassing and ubiquitous that unless you are fortunate enough to be an extreme case, you probably don't know that you have it. What unhealthy habits and attachments are holding onto your life? Are you unconsciously dependent on food, bad relationships, a job that doesn't fulfill you? Are you numb, constantly pursuing your phone, looking for what? The program in this book has given me the freedom of all addictions, and it will do the same for you. So that's the general purpose of the book. It kind of takes you through the 12-step progress, because that's the program he follows for his alcohol and other addictions. But it then takes that and warps it into something that everyone can follow if they don't have a classic addiction like drugs and alcohol, sex, gambling, that kind of stuff. So while not every one of the 12-step points really makes sense to me, because I don't have any of those addictions, I do have a lot of things that I'm trying to work through. Again, came through meditations. I also started therapy in February, but basically, like, trying to get out of my own head, stop chasing the opinions of others and focus on yourself. One of the things that actually they say in meditations, we love ourselves more than we love anyone else, but we care about the opinions of others more than we care about the opinions of ourselves. And that's very true in my life. So some of the points that are made in this are very poignant. And I have an addiction to food in the sense of some people believe that's true, some people believe that's not. But I do abuse food and social media like the rest. So those are the 4 books that I read in January. I highly recommend all of them. If you're only going to read one, I recommend Meditations. But if you don't really like heavier stuff and just want kind of fluff, then Villanelle for sure. And if you don't read at all, I'm surprised you're watching this video, but watch the show. February was a bad month for me. February, I went through a lot of stuff with my brain. So I only made it through one book, and it was Kill Shot by Vince Flynn. And so it's almost along the same line as Villanelle, Killing Eve, codename Villanelle. It's in the years since CIA trained and then unleashed him, Mitch Rapp has dismantled Kill by Untraceable Kill, the network of monsters behind the Pan Am Lockerbie terrorist attack. The hunt leads to Paris, where a deadly trap is sprung as the bullet leaves Rapp's silenced pistol, followed by the discovery of 9 bodies, including that of Libya's oil minister, in the one of city's finest hotels. Washington wants no part of the international crisis, and Rapp is deemed a liability by Stan Hurley, one of his handlers. But as he slips outside their control to operate on his own, it will soon become clear that nothing is more dangerous than a wounded and cornered Mitch Rapp. Basically, if you like Mission Impossible or what is the Hunt for Red October? Think. I I can't remember. If you like that kind of style, you'll like this. It's very fast-ish pace, fluff to read. You can knock through this one pretty quickly. You don't have to use a lot of brain power to go through it. But it's just good fun. Yeah, you follow Mitch Rapp, who's sent on a mission. It goes awry, surprise, because, it's actually a trap. He gets shot, obviously survives, since there's a whole series about this. And then basically he has to prove his innocence, because the government is throwing him under the bus for the botched operation. So he has to evade the bad guys and the good guys, the government, to try and prove his innocence. So it's fun. It's a good time. But I mean, yeah, you don't have to invest a ton of time into this. It's just some good fluff to read. And it was perfect for what I needed in February because I wasn't feeling it. And that brings us into March, which will be the last of this very quick wrap-up video before I will break month to month and put them out every Tuesday on a weekly basis, because April is when I started doing the pen thing as well. So March, I read 3 books. I read the other Russell Brand book called Mentors. So it says, how do any of us progress beyond our own temporary limits? The potential person we can become hums in an invisible grid within and without us. A genius may actuate. See, when I try and read fast, I can't pronounce words. By intuition, but all of us need heroes, role models, and mentors. I have mentors in every area of my life: as a comic, a dad, a recovering drug addict, a spiritual being, and as a man who believes that we as individuals and the great globe itself are works in progress, and that through a chain of mentorship, we can improve individually and globally together. So basically, it's sort of the next step after his recovery book. It doesn't talk about going through the recovery process like this one does. Does of course mention his sobriety and stuff like that, just because it's so poignant to his life, but it's not the focus. The focus is basically saying if you want to get better in an area, you can do it by yourself, but you're never going to get there. You need somebody to guide you there. And mentorship doesn't necessarily have to be buddy, hand in hand, we're going to go through life, forever. That could be anybody. You could just look at somebody and the way they live their life and admire that and respect that. And you get to know them. You ask them questions. You understand their thought process. And you try and emulate that until you can find your own style with that. So whether that's a teacher, a parent, a sibling, a friend, somebody on YouTube, in the sense of getting into fountain pens, the original time, many years ago. Brian Goulet was, a bit of a mentor for a while. I went to him for everything. It was a one-way relationship in the sense that I didn't know him. I've never met him. I've never really had a conversation. We've had 1 or 2 quick comments on social media, but that's been about it. So it doesn't necessarily have to go both ways, but the whole point is that you need somebody who's doing what you want to do to model after, and to check you, because you are your own worst critic, but you're also your own blind spot. So you may actively make better choices every day, but are you? Because you're biased. You're always biased towards yourself. So having mentors to sort of check yourself and bring yourself along is really what that one was about. And I just found it fascinating. Very short, again, easy read. You can kind of knock it out, no problem. Another short one I read is called We're Okay. This is by Nina LaCour. It's another short one, relatively easy read. I actually read this one in my car over lunch breaks at work. This is a beautiful cover. I absolutely love it. It has a fantastic feel as well. It says, you go through life thinking there's so much you need until you leave with only your phone, your wallet, and a picture of your mother. Maren hasn't spoken to anyone from her old life since the day she left everything behind. No one knows the truth about those final weeks and the tragedy Maren has tried to outrun. Not even her best friend, Mabel. Now, months later, alone in an empty dorm for winter break, Maren waits. Mabel is coming to visit, and Maren will finally be forced to face everything that has been left unsaid and confronted, and the loneliness that has made a home in her heart. An intimate whisper that packs an indelible punch, this gorgeously crafted and achingly honest portrayal of grief will leave you urgent to reach across any distance to reconnect with the people you love. So basically, yeah, you follow the life of Maren, who is just beginning university. You know that she's been through something tragic and that she doesn't have anyone in her life to depend on. She's very anxious ridden, very scared of everything. She's run away from those she does still have mild connections with. You know that she used to live with her grandfather. You know that he is, you don't know, but you suspect that something happened to him because now she's on her own. And Maren, her best friend, is now coming to confront her, essentially. I think it's beautiful. You feel the aching in her bones. There are the occasional moment where I'm almost like, snap out of it. Like, come on. But for the most part, I really enjoyed this book. And I understand that deep level of anxious grief. And when you get into that mode, you really can't. You want so desperately to be able to get what you're feeling out, but you just don't know how and you can't. And I understand that. So I connected with this really intensely. So if you want a quick read that will capture your heart, check that one out. Then along the same lines as Meditations with Marcus Aurelius, I read Lives of the Stoics by Ryan Holiday and Stephen Hanselman. So the story of Stoicism is the story of triumph over adversity from Zeno's conversion. Oh, geez, Louise, I can't speak. I'm trying to do this video so quick. From Zeno's conversion to philosophy in a bookshop in Athens after losing a fortune in business to the Emperor Marcus Aurelius' overcoming obstacles and ill health, each of the 26 figures in this book was put to the test. For 2,000 years, from Seneca to Epictetus, the Stoics have been teaching us on the battlefield in business, in politics, and at home by both work and deed. This book has one aim: to inspire you with the Stoics' greatness and to warn you of their mistakes, so that philosophy might turn you into the kind of person you were always meant to be. So basically what this does is it goes through a lot of the known philosophers and greats of the time, like Cato, Senior and Junior. And what I appreciate is that it gives you the phonetic spelling, because some of their names are interesting to say the least. But it gives you their stories and everything that they had to overcome, but then it makes it digestible for the 21st century. A lot of what they lived through is not applicable to life now, but a lot of what they lived through is. Foundationally, nothing has changed since AD, BC, E. Nothing has really changed that much. Human nature is still human nature. So going off of Marcus Aurelius's Meditations, it was really nice to get to know 25 other philosophers, because Marcus is in here, and to understand the high level of their lives, and how they overcame adversity, and wasn't just a pen and ink philosopher, as Ryan Holiday describes. I know that's not his phrase. It actually came from somebody else, but I can't remember who that was, and how they overcame all that. And it was just an inspiration to me. So like Russell Brand's mentors, you got to find some mentors. These ones just happen to be really old dead guys. I would like to go into them deeper, but I know this video is so long. So if you're still here, thank you. I'm gonna break down everyone after this. It's gonna be much shorter, where I will also share pen and ink combinations that I was using that month as well. So guys, if you're still watching at this point, my gosh, bless you, bless your soul. Comment in the comment section down below, too long. If you're still watching this video, I appreciate it. Do hit the subscribe button. Pen and ink videos, fountain pen related videos every Monday and Friday. occasional Q&A on Tuesday, plus now this book series and pen and ink of the month series on Tuesdays. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things the YouTubers are. I don't know. Go enjoy the rest of your life now. This has been a very long video, and I'll see you next time. Bye.